Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to Alatra TV Middle East. And today we have our daily broadcast on the topic Creative Society, and we have a very special guest from Canada. But before we introduce you, I would like to remind that we conduct social surveys and interviews with people all around the globe on the topic Creative Society. Creative Society is a global project of Alatra International Public Movement, and our main goal is to find out how people see the society where everyone lives prosperously, comfortably, happily, and how we can build such a society all together. And to find it out, every day we invite very interesting guests from different countries. And today my co-host is Kate. Hi Kate, how are you?
Hi, Alina. I'm fine, thank you. I love our broadcasts because like every day you see new people from different countries, and this is simply amazing. And the project, the Creative Society project, is also really wonderful. And I'd like to remind our guests that throughout this project, we're also testing a theory of six handshakes. And like every person, every guest brings us, leads us to new exciting meetings and exciting conversations. So, dear viewers, could you please help me in welcoming our special guest for today, Tracy Barry from Canada? Tracy is a multi award winning career and equitable leadership strategist. Hi, Tracy. How are you doing?
I'm good, Kate. Lynn, nice to meet you both, and thanks for inviting me here.
Thank you very much for accepting our
Thank you.
invitation. And also, I'd like to say that Tracy dedicated her career to helping women, especially Black, Indigenous, women of color, and immigrant women, to access new opportunities in Canada. So, Tracy, could you please share with us your story? Like, what inspired you to choose this field of work? What motivated you to start this journey and to continue it?
All right, thank you, Kate. Of course, as you may have read from the bio, um, I am an immigrant to Canada. I've been here for a couple of years now. And of course, my journey and my experience as an immigrant woman while I was integrating into a new country led me to do what I start doing today. So coming to Canada when I was a teenager and how, adaptation and integration was really hard for me. And while I was dealing with that, I saw other women that was going through the same thing, right? And then I said at that point, if I was able to find myself out of what I was going through, the difficulties, the challenges that I was going through, I will dedicate myself to support other newcomers and other women that was looking to find themselves, so they don't have to make the same mistake that I have made. It's just basically um, making sure that if I have gone through it, why will I allow a fellow woman go through what I have learned? So that was what I did. And as I said, with a lot of hurdles, I started finding myself, living the Canadian dream many years later, way later than I have expected. And opportunity came for me to, start implementing those the things that I have learned. And I started a project in 2017, whereby opportunity for me to showcase those women that has beating those odds to become doctors, lawyer, to become leaders in our community, especially when it comes to their career and their life. I was like, I'm just gonna collect 150 stories, success stories from these women for Canada 150, because everybody may have remember when Canada celebrated 150th in 2017. And then I'm going to publish it into a book that I wish would be a manual that I had when I came to Canada of how many women that are successful became who they are today. And just that idea, which I titled then Project 150, accomplished 150 immigrant women in Canada, which I think you can see the book behind me. That idea became a very huge and successful platform for us to start what I do today. Going across Canada, meeting a lot of people, hearing how they became the leaders that they are, led me to do what I do today. And after hearing those stories, I was really impressed to say, I think this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because with just the 150 stories that I collected, we were able to impact thousands of women who wanted to change their life just by listening to the women's stories and that we brought to the platform, or that we have showcased on our platform. So it was a life-changing opportunity for me and thousands of other people that participated in the project. And that is how I became the person that I am today, with my career now centered around it. Yeah.
Tracy, you are so right that women and children and elderly people, they are sensitive social group of our society in all countries. And what you are doing is amazing, really amazing. And we know that the Growth platform is based on four um, great principles. Can you please share them with us?
Yes, thank you, Lena. So when we finished the project and then published the book, my team and I, we started, going through and analyzing what these women have shared in their story. Even though these women were all successful now, there was something that they all talked about that they wish they had along their way. That was the resources that they thought they had, and also, the things that they felt, the tools that they wish they had along the way. If they had gotten those resources, life, some of them say, would have been way easier for them to become who they were, even though they were all successful now. So when my team and I, we saw that trend, because it doesn't really matter where those women were from, even though they were from Africa, from India, from China, whatever they, even from Europe, because we had some immigrant women that we spoke to that was from all over England, even Switzerland, who are immigrants in Canada now. They all said they had to go through that phase of, challenges of integration. So that was when I had the idea of saying, I think we can create a solution around this, because if everyone was talking about this, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Black, if you're white, if you're Asia, whatever. I think this is a good solution that we should find. This is a good problem that we should be finding a solution to. Hence, I said, you know what? I told my thing, we're going to grow women leaders. So that's what we're doing right now. That idea of wanting to grow women leaders took 2 years of research, 2 years of what does it take to grow women leaders, especially among the minority women. So, and for that to happen, we came up with 4 principles. The principle that we now call SEED, which is support, encourage, empower, develop. Because in order for a woman to truly grow into a leader, they need support, not just from their family, from the community, from the government. So how do we strategically put that in place so any woman that comes to us for growth will be able to go through that? Of course, I told you I'm a mother. I have multiple kids. Encouragement, sometimes everybody needs that, especially during the time of this pandemic. Many women are giving up. They are saying that it's harder than what they think, right? So encouragement too goes a further way. And another way was empowerment. It is important that we empower women, and we know what that can be, and it can be in any format. So that was one of our principles. And then lastly, development. So we do that through training, through talks that we do, and also through the recruitment that we do. So those are the principle that we put in play, that we felt with time now, we are seeing a lot of difference, because through that principle, at the end of every year, we can boastfully say that we are able to grow hundreds of women who are now taking this down to say, I am not just going to be an average woman in our society, but rather I am going to be the leader and a representation for other women or for men that are out there. So our principle is really working for us. And I feel that is what all women around the world should be using. And just the principle now, we don't just use it for Women, we use it in companies, we use it in organization. We also tip it to the government to say, in order for a woman to thrive as a leader, they need that principle in order to move forward. So yeah, that's what it is, the principle of SAID.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Thank you for sharing it. And I'm pretty sure that our viewers will, keep it in mind and will try to implement it in their lives as well, in their careers and in their like everyday life. Um, Thank you. And right now, I'd like to ask you to share your vision of creative society. How do you see a society where each and every person lives happily, lives comfortably, and prosperously?
For me, I actually wrote some few points down around that. For that, that is what I do in my own way. And women around me now, I see many of them who come to me say, Tracy, you've challenged me because if you can do this, I feel that I can do that, right? For me in particular, equitable employment and leadership, especially in the workforce, is really, really important to me. Those are the kind of the issues that I'm using my platform to deal with. Because if we are creating equitable employment and leadership for all, irrespective of the gender, we feel that we're going to be creating more representation that will inspire the oncoming generation. And when they see themselves um, in another woman or another man doing what they want to do, that empower them to say, you know what, I can become that. So first, when we talk about that, we see that everyone will become empowered, not necessarily waiting for other people to empower them because they are seeing the vision. And I gave you an example. So there's this morning, Kate, seeing the new VP in the United States being a woman of color. You will see like a lot of empowerment among the minority community. They will be empowered in their own right to say, this is something that I can do. And not just for the women of color, for women in general, to see the first ever vice president in a nation like that. Now women are feeling empowered to say, I can do this. And now you're going to see more women wanting to take the stand for that, for themselves to aim high, right? So in order for that to really happen, we all have to start creating representation. Thus, we will be seeing more increase in people wanting to, say there is no inequality. Let's just say that, like we're bridging that gap of inequality. So that's what I feel, and that should be. And for that to even commence at all, we have to focus on the, addressing, structural racism that we all know that it's a big, big issue, and when we focus on that aspect, we will see that we were going to be creating a world that everybody feel that they belong to.
I love it. Yeah, creative society is a world everyone belongs to. And that's absolutely true. And to build such a society, which we are all really willing to live in, we have 8 foundations. They are very simple, but at the same time, they are the pillars on which such a society can be created. And I know that you had a chance to read the article, The Foundations of the Creative Society. Dear viewers, you can read this article and read more about the project on the webpage allatrounite.com. But today we would like maybe to talk about several foundations more in deep, and we would like to touch the sixth foundation, which is development of personality. So every person in the creative society has the right to comprehensive development and personal fulfillment. Education should be free and equally accessible to all, creating conditions and expanding opportunities for a human to implement his or her creative abilities and talents. What do you think about this foundation, Tracy? How can we realize it in the creative society?
I just loved it. You know, the first time I spoke to you too, like I was just amazed by this wonderful initiative. And I couldn't stop smiling from ear to ear to see that there's a movement around this already, right? You know, as you also said, one of the principles that we have at Grow is development, and through which we train women. For why is that? Because I have sat down to a lot of leaders throughout these years, employers, CEOs, you know, who would say, yes, we want to have some women in this space, but it's just that we feel that they don't have enough of the experience that we're looking for. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, okay, if that's what you're saying, that women don't have the experience, what about we start training them on the experience that you think they have? So I feel that foundation is very crucial. We know for a woman to be empowered, education is number one key for that. Even when we go, because I'm from West Africa, Africa, we see how everyone is advocating for a girl to be educated, because an educated girl or woman is an empowered woman, and we see how that plays out in how she carries herself in the society, walking up straight with her shoulder high because she's educated. So that foundation is really, really crucial in order for us to have, equitable, creative society, because you are equally giving them a tool that they all can use in building themselves to become who they want to be, right? So it is amazing initiative. It is something that must be pushed forward, and we know for a fact that some continents, like somewhere in Africa, so we're still challenged. We're still having a challenge around why to develop a woman means that they have to be educated. So that foundation should it's crucial. It is really crucial. That is what I say, and I believe that through education and making it free as much as possible will play a vital role in helping us to attain the goal that your organization is looking to attain. So it is beautiful. I love it.
It's true. True. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And you also mentioned that education is a tool, is a great tool to provide, people the knowledge. And also, in our contemporary society right now, we have another tool that is used, in both ways. I mean, the mass media. It nowadays it plays tremendous role in our life, in the life of each person all over the world. But currently, for some reason, there is a lot of negativity, violence, aggression in mass media. So what do you think, how the implementation of creative ideology can help to eliminate this violence in the world and popularize the best human qualities? Like what principles maybe it should be based on the ideology?
I just want to make sure that I'm getting the question, what you're asking. So you're talking about social media, how that is being a tool, which I really agree. Of course, I have a full course around that on how to use social media responsibly, because it can make you or destroy you, right? So, but I want to get the half of your question, which I didn't really. If you can please repeat that.
Sure, sure. So, what do you think? How the implementation of creative ideology, it's the fifth pillar, the fifth foundation, how it can help to eliminate the violence and aggression and popularize the best human qualities? If you want, I can read out the foundation itself, so it would be more, comfortable for you to answer.
Sure, sure.
So, the ideology should be aimed at popularizing the best human qualities and stopping everything that is directed against a human. The main priority is the priority of humanity, high spiritual and moral aspirations of a human, humanness, virtue, mutual respect, and strengthening of friendship, creating conditions for the development and education of a human with capital H, cultivating moral values in each person and society, prohibition of propaganda of violence, condemnation, and denunciation of any form of division, aggression, and anti-humane manifestations. So this is the Creative Ideology Foundation. So
Yes, I see that now. As we talk about education being the two, I think it's out had time now to actually also um, have maybe look more into educating on the ideology, because if you say the social media right now, as you already said, plays a big role in how people are thinking nowadays. You know what I mean? If not that I have dedicated myself to wanting to be a carrier of good news, right? And because of what I have this personal principle and value that I have for myself to say, I am not going to be part of negativity. I will not spread negativity. So I will not use my mouth, even use my platform to spread negativities. So hence, when something negative comes on social media, I take my time to go do the research first to know if this is true or not, if this is content that I should be sharing or not, because I know when I share it, even though it's one person that sees that content, it automatically will shape how their ideology about things, right? I can give an example, right? If the world was already, we have this rioting everywhere, and we have, things that are happening with the COVID-19 right now. People are already down. It's bringing a lot of people efforts down, and you see like a lot of propaganda, fake, content spreading around just to propagate more fear, right? And this now is causing more people anxiety. I blame some people that choose to start sharing that content via social media for not taking the time to do the research. So, hence, what I feel that education is really crucial when it comes to shaping people ideology. Just because social media is free doesn't mean that you should put in what makes you feel good. Because sometimes what makes you feel good might not be good to other people ideology. It might, what I share today, if I decide to share a negative content and somebody go on my page to go read that negative content, that can disrupt the whole of their day and also how they perceive the world. So that's why I feel that a lot of education has to be done when it comes to ideology and how that directly reflects to what we see on social media, how some people are using that as an advantage to share what is not ideal, and hence it's creating more division to the world. So as I said, it's going to take a lot of education to allow people to use this platform responsibly. I would like to say that, because when they start using it responsibly, hence ideology of individual people is going to be shaped by what that means. So yeah, it's crucial, and ideology nowadays is directly tied to what we see on social media. Imagine many years ago, it was tied to the radio, it was tied to the TV, but now people are kind of doing away. I can stay away from TV. I haven't watched TV for years now, but I am always on social media, and whatever that I see, and because it's not with the TV and radio. What will I say? I know it's this. So I'm trying to use the correct political word now. It was protected. It was owned by people. So whatever information was given out was well researched and was well structured. But now, because of social media, everyone has a take in it. You can go there and put your own content. I see that now that it's becoming so much of content flowing around, and that content now, even though it's negative or positive, it's impacting the ideology of how many human beings, or how all human beings are behaving today, right? So yeah,
Right.
so pretty much.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the choice starts from ourselves, from every person, from me, from you, from Kate, from each of our viewers, because mass media nowadays is a great tool which is basically in the hands of people, and we can take responsibility because actually, from my point of view, the creative society is a society of 8 billion of responsible and adult people who really understand what they do and which impact their actions can bring to the society. And just imagine if each of us will make an effort to create the atmosphere of great news and education and constructive decisions for problems which our society is facing, not, just increasing fear and anxiety of each other, because of course negative news, they attract a lot of attention of people. That's why they are so much everywhere. But yeah, I agree that every person can take responsibility, and also that a creative society should really take good care about ideology which goes to the minds of people of the world. And I would like to touch with you the topic of social protection, because nowadays we know that in different countries people have very different conditions of life, and in many countries they really don't have a good social protection, and as a result we see a big increase of violence all over the world, and wars and conflicts, a lot of tension. How do you think the implementation of the third foundation of the creative society, which is human safety, could help us to really come to peace all over the world?
Um, I like that too. The human safety. Uh, I'll give an example, right? And which kind of still tied to your other ideology foundation. I was in Africa recently, right? And because of what I do here in Canada and having the freedom to do what I do here, I haven't lived here in Canada for a long time. I I could do so many things that I now believe that I'm free to do, right? Because Canada gives us that opportunity of freedom. Going back home, I took that ideology of I am a woman, I am free in Canada, I can say whatever I want to do because we are all equal, right? I took it back home. I have conversation with people, right? Talking to men, and how funny it is that many of these men are so patriarchy, right? They have this ideology of how they are very supreme. Women cannot say or talk about becoming a leader, right? And for me, I found myself always wanting to defend to say, what make you think that women shouldn't be a leader, right? So when it comes to human safety, and because of my niche that I focus on, is creating that protection for women to be able to have that human safety, which I feel in some part of the world, like in Nigeria, where I don't want to say Africa, in Nigeria, when I went, I didn't see that human safety for the group that I love to work with, which are the women, right? So I feel now it goes back to other principle from education, and also ideology. How are the ideology shaped by men of what they understand, what was meant to be, and all that? What all those surrounding is shaping that. And once again, human safety is automatically what we need and what we all should work together to get. And that's derived from currently the social protection that is in place. Everyone has to feel that they all belong in order for them to be able to say, if I feel protected, this is when I feel I am part of a creative society. But if a principle is not put in place for everyone to feel that they are protected, I feel it's gonna deviate us apart as much as we go. You know what I mean? So yeah, it is what is needed. As I said, it's going to take a lot of conversations like what you guys are having right now in order to bring more light or shed more light to say, in order for us all to feel equal, men, women, children, old, young, disabled, and in order for them to feel that they have that human safety, we all have to take initial responsibility of educating of ourselves to say, to envision what kind of world do we want to see, right? Do we want to see a world whereby we want to think that we're better than one another? Or as a man, I have more power than my women person? Or because I'm young, I should be playing the game of ageism, or I'm stronger? So if we understand that in order to have a creative society, it has to start from our own ideology and education. That is, I feel that is where we will be able to have a creative society where everyone belongs. And for that to happen, it has to be like individual taking responsibility in their own hands and doing the little that they can do, because you've heard this word of a little bit of water or a little drop of water making a mighty ocean. So it starts from personal responsibility as well as taking that, you know what, I don't have to wait for the police force or the army force or to do the safety for me and people around me. I have to be the one that takes that into my hands, from not discriminating, from not thinking that I'm better than other people, from, all those things have to be starting from individual in order for us to be able to achieve social protection in an equitable manner. So I don't know if that's clear enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As you mentioned, the police and other military forces, I would like to mention what role will be given to these services in the creative society. So, the security of human and society from any kind of threats is ensured by the unified global service that deals with emergency situations. So it's a global service which is aimed to protect all the members of the society, but mostly from outside threats, not from inside, because members of the creative society, they will not put in danger life of another person, because human life is the most valuable in a creative society. There is nothing more important and more valuable than a human life.
Yeah, that's absolutely right with what you said. It's, as you said, the police and the army, they should be working from inside out, right? Why we as human in a creative society will be taking the responsibility to work from inside. I mean, no, I mean, I'm going to say it all over again. The police or the forces should be working from outside in terms of emergency. That is when they come in, and we as a creative of society, we will be working from inside out. So, and that will go with, how we try to live in peace with one another, how we try to understand people from their own perspective, how we try to live in a world of harmony where we choose not to start hates or start war or rioting. It's a personal choice, because it's only when it gets out of hand, it's only when I hate my sister and brother so much that it results in me fighting her. That is what is going to result in police coming in, right? If I don't fight my sister or my brother, in this case, which are men or women, a police might not come in. So that is why I keep saying that in order for us to live in this creative society that we all are building towards, it has to start with us starting to build harmony, a peaceful community, a peaceful way of talking that we should take responsibility of. And then it's going to be very hard for the external to start coming in. So it's personal belief and personal responsibility when it comes to living in a creative society, which I feel is going to be a beautiful world for all of us to live in, right? So yeah.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And like I totally agree with what you said, that each foundation is interconnected with another one. And about the responsibility, you already answered the question that I wanted to ask you about, like how important is it for each person to take an active part in the life of society in general. But you
Mm.
already said so many good things about like how important it is to be responsible, to take the responsibility for what you do, what you say, and then our world will automatically become better, because we will not have a desire to harm another person, because we understand that his or her life is the highest value, and it's the most important, just like my life as well. And I want to ask you another question. What do you think unites all people in the world, regardless of their nationality, religious beliefs, the place where they live? What do we all have in common internally?
Sorry, say that again. I think I missed the first part. The whole people. What did you say? Was that?
What unites all people in the world? What do we all have in common?
What do we have in common? That's our soul. If we all start understanding that we all have soul underneath whatever we all are having right now, whatever we see today. So if you know and you understand what soul is all about, that irrespective of underneath a black person, a white person, a old person, a child, even an animal, or whatever that is, if you understand that something inside that is beyond what we human can understand plays a role, you will know that that should be something we all should be focusing on. Then if you, for me, I want to call it a soul. You want to take people, understand that, even I'll give an example. I don't know why I do this. I educate my children to understand that you cannot even don't even try to hurt a ant or an insect. Don't kill it. Don't do anything. Just let them. If they don't hurt you, don't hurt them. And my kids will say, but why, mommy? I'm like, what if this insect or a bug has a kid or a baby that she's going to go back home to? And because of that right now, my kids, they respect animals, they respect insects, right? Because I let them understand that what if this animal will go back to a responsibility? Do you want the baby to be crying? For just that word that I've been educating my kids on, I find that they have empathy for just animals or insects. So imagine now if we now let people know that this soul that we have, irrespective of how we are carrying it, even though we are old, we are young, we are black, we're white, there is something that we can understand, that if I have it, you have it, which I would call soul. I feel that would make a great difference of how people will be respecting one another. And to answer that question, what connects us together is that we have a soul that I don't have an answer to it, how that connected, but I just feel that is what it is. And we're respecting everything, irrespective of what it is, the vessel that is carrying that soul. We will all understand that we can actually make living in a creative society possible. I don't know if you got that. You know what I mean? So that's what I think.
Absolutely.
Because we have to start respecting one another. We have to start loving one another. We have to start caring for one another. And why? Just because I don't want to sit here and think, oh, I'm better than you, or oh, I'm okay. I live in a better country. You are there. If you know that even though I'm in Canada, I have all this freedom. The woman that is living in Africa, that is going through that torture, going through that pain and challenges, she feels the same pain. She feels the same sorrow. She cries the same tears that I cry. You will have more more respect and more more respect and more feeling. Even though the woman is not here, you will start feeling for them, and then thinking that, you know what, I know I'm not with you right now, but I feel that I can easily be in your place, because what connects us as human is our soul that we must, all work towards. Yeah. All right, that's that's it for that.
Thank you, Tracy. It's a very beautiful answer, and I do believe that soul is something which we have the same, and it makes us equal, and it makes us understand that no one is better or worth, no one deserves a better life, because we should provide an equal conditions, a very good condition for prosperous life for every human being. Then we can be called humanity. Otherwise, we are animals who forgot that they have souls. And basically, as you mentioned, that creative society is a society where every soul will be happy. I would like to say that in order creative society starts, we only need 10% of people who actively start to spread the idea of the creative society and to explain to their friends and relatives and people they know and maybe they don't know what is creative society, why it is possible to be built very quickly.
Around the world. So I have so much. So if you let me take that, because I said, as you already said, we only need 10% of the world, right? It is good number, but we need a better number, a 50 number, because we still get some people that don't understand why this initiative is really possible. Trust me, you talk to some people, they'll say, oh, it's next to impossible, but it's very possible. And I will take my time to nominate few women leaders that I know love the idea of the creative society, because they too will know that it is what is needed in the world right now. So as I said, I've got a lot of women that will nominate for this, but it doesn't come to my mind right now, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. We will wait for you to co-host, to become a host of Creative Society show, and to invite many guests, to nominate people who, as you and ours and many other people in the world here and now, are building Creative Society, because we all understand how important it is. And we send this message to the world. We invite specialists from different spheres to join this project, because of course the Creative Society is a society of responsible people who invest their knowledge, their time, their attention into building a great society for everyone.
Yes, and also I'd like to mention that if you guys, the ones who are watching, would like to join the Creative Society project, it is very easy to do. The only thing that you have to do is go to allatraunites.com website, press on the red button join, and fill out the short form where you can, mention how you would like to participate in the project. And Allatra International Public Movement volunteers will get in touch with you and help you to actually start acting already today. Like think globally but act locally. And if you would like to join our live conversations, it is also very easy to do. You simply can write an email to info@allatraunites.com or uae@allatraunites.com, and we will get in touch with you as well and invite you to our live broadcast conversations. So thank you very much, Tracy, for joining us today. It was a lovely
Thank you.
conversation. Yes, you shared so many of your great ideas and gave us so many good examples that you can already, take now as an example and practice it in your life, or avoid some things that you also mentioned. And thank you very much, Alina, for co-hosting today's broadcast. So,
Thank you, Kate. It
yeah.
was a great pleasure. And, I love our Creative Society shows because every show gives a lot of understandings and we have amazing guests. And I know that it's snowing today in Canada, but still Tracy brought us all the warmth of her heart. And dear viewers, join us next time on Creative Society shows. Have a great day. Bye.
Take care. Thanks
Goodbye.
for having me. Bye.
Bye.